Speaker.
I call the honourable member John Hayes.
Mr. Speaker, a sickening aspect of politics are the sanctimonious comments from Jami-Lee in the House this afternoon and those from Andrew Williams based on no knowledge whatever of the issues of diplomatic immunity. And then I could go on for the Labour Party and have a little discussion on behalf of David Shearer, who's trying to turn a very nasty alleged event into political capital, as the last speaker has done from that side of the House. Mr. Speaker, the debate this afternoon has been nothing to do with the young victim of this alleged crime and everything to do with putting an event into the public domain, not for the victim, but for private party political purpose. Mr. Speaker, some facts are clear. The concern for the victim should be absolutely paramount. Mr. Speaker, we should be deeply concerned by the allegation and the importance that justice must not just be seen to be done, but I think all of us in this House want to see it done. Mr. Speaker, the victim deserves justice. It might help to say a few words about what is diplomatic immunity, and I say that as a former High Commissioner, Ambassador and a diplomat for this country. Mr. Speaker, I have used diplomatic immunity on occasions when I have been offshore in some, shall we just say, difficult countries. Diplomatic immunity is a form of legal immunity that ensures diplomats are given safe passage and are considered not susceptible to lawsuit or prosecution under law, though they can still be expelled. It is an agreed international law, and it's set out in the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations around 1961. Diplomatic immunity allows governments, as my colleague Tim Gross has said, to maintain a dialogue and a relationship even during times of armed conflict. As Tim also said, as Mr. Gross also said, many countries refuse to waive immunity as a matter of course. But it is possible for a diplomat's home country to waive immunity. I remember being in Saudi Arabia at the time that the Chilean diplomat was charged with drunk driving causing death here, and every head of mission at that time received a letter from the Prime Minister making it clear if a New Zealand diplomat infringed the law of his host country, diplomatic immunity would not be invoked. Mr. Speaker, diplomatic immunity usually is only used when a person's role is as a diplomat. For example, it's not generally invoked if there's a crime, unless perhaps one was accused of spying. But a home country may prosecute an individual if immunity is waived by a government, so that the diplomat or the family member can be prosecuted, because there is a case to answer and it's in the public interest to prosecute them. Speaker, diplomats are representative of nations with a tradition of professional civil service. They are expected to obey regulations governing their behaviour, and they suffer strict internal consequences if they flout local law, as has happened with colleagues of mine over the years in the Foreign Ministry, and colleagues that I've worked with, for example, from Australia. None of us are perfect in this world, and all countries have had their problems. Diplomats are not exempt from the law in their own countries, so prosecution can also be undertaken by the sending state. And Mr. Grosser made some interesting points about that, about how we should stand back and wait for events to be dealt with, not carry on like barking dogs about an issue that few of us here have the facts around. Sir, the Vienna Convention is very explicit. Diplomats who have privilege and immunity are obliged to respect the law and the regulations of the receiving state. Speaker, I have every sympathy for the victim in this case. I have faith in the police. I have absolute faith in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade and my ex-colleagues there. And I accept the apology of the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, which has been published today. I have every sympathy with the people of Malaysia because they've been let down by one of their own, but it was an individual letting them down, not the whole country, and I feel sorry for them. Sir, the Ministry has fallen well short of its expectations to the government on this occasion, and we take this failure very seriously, and I pass greetings to the Secretary of Foreign Affairs this morning as he moved through Bowen House to see the Foreign Ministry. The Foreign Minister. Unfortunately, the way the Ministry dealt with this issue left some ambiguity around our position was that the accused should face justice in New Zealand, as John Allen has said. Sir, this is a very sad occasion and I extend my condolences to the victim, but I have every faith in the robustness of our system to deliver the right outcome in this occasion. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker.
The time for this debate has expired.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member Ian Lees-Galloway.
There is a 5-minute call that has not been taken in this debate.
No, it's a 10-minute call. And the member has used up nearly 7 minutes of it. So the time for the debate has expired. I therefore... Point of order, the Honourable Member Ian Lees-Galloway.
Mr. Speaker, there have been 9 calls on this debate. An urgent debate allows for 10 calls. One of those calls has not been taken. I believe it's a 5-minute call.
Speaker to the point of order.
I'm advised that the urgent debate was for 8 calls. That is what I've been advised.
Point of order, Mr. Smith.
Point of order, the Honourable Member Jami-Lee Ross.
Mr. Speaker, when the debate had started, the National Party decided to combine 2 of the 5-minute government calls to make a 10-minute call, so the time was still the same, and that was to discuss and negotiate it with the Speaker.
That's as I understand it. Okay. Would some honourable member care to move that the House take note of miscellaneous business?
Mr. Speaker, I so move.
I call the honourable member Materia Ture. Tēnā Ms Ture.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, John Key told families